Hey folks, Corey here with Fist and Stone Wargaming. Welcome to the Stone Path. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I shade and highlight my tanks. Shading and highlighting can bring a lot of depth to your miniatures. This is especially true of tanks with their flat surfaces can really look one-dimensional. The shading and highlighting allows you to bring out that 3D view. Here's a look at the Chimera I'm going to be working on today. When it comes to shading, it's going to be important here that we get into all of the recesses. That includes all the panel lines. We're going to even do the rivets. And then, of course, all around the perimeter. You can see here this tank has quite a bit of detail to get into. It's going to take some time, but it's be worth it. For a shade, I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade with a small base brush. And I'm going to follow it up with a dry brush of Ushabti Bone. This is a pretty straightforward two-step process, but I warn you, it's not quick. So let's get right into the shading. Some people call this a pin wash, some call it a recess shade. Whatever it is, the idea here is to paint the shade right into the recesses and the crevices and the cracks. You're literally painting the shadow on the model. I've sped this up here so you can see me work quickly through it. It's important to make sure you don't have any big pools forming. You see every now and then I'll go back with the brush to a place where there might be a little bit of extra color. Keep in mind here that the color will dry a little bit lighter than it shows here. It won't be quite as dark and defined, but it will certainly provide the effect of shadow in all of these recesses and really start to bring the depth to the model. Don't worry if you're not too precise and you get a little bit wide with the lines or a little bit of extra around somewhere. It'll fade right down and dull out, especially with the next coat when we go over with the dry brush. It will hardly be noticeable. If you have a big miss, use your finger and just wipe up a little bit of the excess. Yes, these tanks have quite a lot of rivet and detail, so it takes a little bit of time to get through this. This is not a very quick step at all, but it's also not very hard and is absolutely worth it in my opinion. And that's what it looks like after this step's complete with most of the model dry. We'll move right along into the dry brush, and this is a very quick step, so I'm going to leave this in real time. Using some very light brush strokes, pass the brush back and forth over all the detail. This dry brush technique will just naturally pick out all of the raised surfaces. You want to get a little bit more paint effect on it, just apply a little bit more pressure as you proceed. Be careful not to overdo it. You don't want to get streaks on your flat surfaces. You're really just looking to pick out the edges and the high points, the rivets and the panel edges. And that's it. Dry brush complete. So here's the tank, the entire tank all finished with this step, both shaded and dry brushed. You can really see everything pop out three-dimensionally. You can see the shadow, the base coat, and then the highlight. And finally, here's a before and after. And I actually managed to finish this model shortly before I posted this video, so here's a couple of shots of it. Hope you found something useful in that video for your future hobby endeavors. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, please subscribe. Check out future content as it becomes available. If you're interested in watching more right now, click on one of the links on the screen. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Stone Path.